This is another CQ Blind Hams podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to CQ Blind Hams podcast and YouTube. Today, we're going to, let me introduce my co-host. We've got Gena, M0EBP. Good morning, good afternoon, Gena.
Good morning to you, Joel.
And we have John, W2JDB. It is morning in New York, so good morning, John.
That's right. It's a cold, it might be sunny morning here. I was in Albany, New York. Good morning, everybody, or good day, everybody, maybe.
Yeah. I woke up this morning to 2 inches of snow up on the plateau in Tennessee.
Oh boy,
around 27 degrees and a couple inches of snow. So did you get any snow, John, or are you still dry?
We have snow, but it's left over from the last storm that we got the other day, where we got maybe three or four inches. But it was pretty cold this morning, and it's going down to about 19. I think I heard this evening. We're in the middle of January. It's that time where it gets very cold, and then sometimes we get a January thaw. Last year we had a pretty dry January. There was almost no snow left.
Yeah, and I didn't mention this, but as we're recording this on January the 8th, 2021, with that other year in the rear view that we don't want to mention. But anyway, Gena, do you have any bad weather today, or is it you're still typically rainy?
No, it's just slightly above freezing here. And yesterday we had some of that like half snow, that sleety, rainy snow. So it was trying to snow, but it was mainly really rain. So we haven't had any decent falls of snow yet, just a small bit. But I am in the city centre, and I do understand like the rural parts of Lancashire, they have had problems with snow. But Brits always do have problems with snow because it hits them as like they've never seen it before.
Yeah, I know.
That happens here too.
Yeah, they go speeding along the roads, then wonder why they hit an icy patch and go, colliding off the road. And didn't realise it was icy.
Wow. Cold weather didn't have anything to do with that.
Forgot about January. Yeah.
But anyway, the reason we're here is to announce a contest / fun. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's we think we're going to try to do a CQ Blind Hams FT8 FT4 contest to sort of give everybody a chance to exercise their equipment and gather, and just the contest is going to be open where we can contact anybody. We're not just going to try to work each other. It's basically how many contacts you can get in a period. And Gena, tell us what the length of the contest is going to be.
Okay, Joe. Yeah, as you've already pointed out, it's a fun thing. It's a personal competition against yourself, really. But if we all do it to the same time, and then submit our scorecard, if you like, we can see how we've done in a very friendly way. But it's a personal challenge more than against each other, all at the same time, and it's on a basis. I can't remember what word you used there, Joel.
The honor system.
Honor system. That I guess that's what you guys call it. Yeah. So just submit the 24 hours, which John is going to tell you when and what the times are we're using.
All right. And I think the term that some groups also use for something like that is a sprint. I know SKCC does it. Straight Key Century Club does it when they have a 24-hour contest or event. And this 24-hour event will be February. Well, my calendar left me here. Well, okay. The first Friday in February, which is February 5th, and at Friday night at 0001 Zulu, 7 o'clock p.m. for those of us in the Eastern time zone, to give you some sense of that, until basically Saturday at 23:59 Zulu, which again for Eastern time folks is 7 p.m. Saturday night. All options are available for FT4 and FT8 frequencies. The normal band plan will be available, and we don't have any fun CQ message or anything like that, because that's not easily able to be changed in WSJTX by those of us who are blind/visually impaired. We can't just change those things. So we're gonna do that. As an aside, if you're a QLOG user, what you would do at the end, if you'd like, is to export your QLOG information to an ADIF file, and that will tell you the total number of contacts that you made in that time period. Just be sure to prior to the contest, export your most recent ADIF file, so you get a new export between the contest time frames. So your total actually does represent the 24-hour time period. It'll be easier for you to track when you submit it. You'll know how many contacts you made. So
okay, and what you do is, once you get that number, say it's 5,000 or 500 or whatever number you come up with, you send an email to me, and I'll have the email in the description. Plus, it's pretty easy. It's my name, Joel Case, JOELCASE @gmail.com. Just send me your call sign with that number, and that way we'll see how many people participated, what great numbers you guys came up with, and maybe with somebody who can put a little certificate and email it to you to print off, to put up, just to show that you were the top FT8, FT4 for this period of time. So just to make it a little fun, we're going to, do that, create a certificate. You mentioned QLOG, John, and Gena, you both use QLOG. I don't use QLOG, and I've kicked it around, and I don't think sighted, low vision users have any benefit over a QLOG user. And I don't think, because there's some things that QLOG does that I can't do, some things that I can do QLOG. So it kind of balances out, and it's all about sitting in a chair and making contacts based on the conditions, your equipment, stuff like that. So John, you want to tell everybody about QLOG, and maybe I'll also have in the show notes the users group, the group.io email, where somebody could join QLOG if they're interested in participating and want to download QLOG and get WSJTX up and running. You can tell everybody about QLOG and who started QLOG.
Okay, I'll try to do the more or less 100-word version here, but QLOG is an adjunct program to WSJTX for use by blind or low vision users. By that, I mean it self-voices the status and the process of making a WSJTX contact. That is, the messages that proceed back and forth between the two stations working FT8 or FT4. And because that's not readily available via normal screen readers, JAWS, NVDA, Windows Narrator, it's not, WSJTX is not terribly friendly to those programs. So about, I don't know, it's at least 2 years, and I think it may be more like 3 ago, Rich, K1H TV, a sighted gentleman who'd been talking with somebody about the use of this program by people who are visually impaired, found Sam W2JDB, and I think I got Sam's call right. Anyway, and he agreed to try and develop a program. He had developed a logging program for himself as a sighted user, to not just for QLOG, or not just for WSJTX, but he got tired of writing logs on paper when he was out doing portable operation, and finally said, "You're a software developer, silly. Why don't you just develop something?" So he did, and he took that skeleton program that was working for him and gave voice to it, essentially, with some voice prompts. So the process is to set up WSJTX and get that all working, presumably with a sighted individual who has made successful WSJTX contacts. And these days, a lot of people are getting it set up via TeamViewer or some other remote application for the so that the two of you can get there, so you can have contactless setup due to COVID restrictions, and then download the QLOG program and get it set up, which is a little bit of a process, but not all that hard. But you need to know that WSJTX is working successfully prior to getting QLOG working, because otherwise, if you have issues, you're kind of chasing your tail as to which program is giving you fits. More than likely, it'll be WSJTX, but that isn't necessarily 100% true. The things you can do with QLOG are you can answer CQs on the screen. It has an auto respond feature where it looks at the first station calling CQ. There are some filter criteria that you can set up that Sam has enabled. Things like new band, new mode, DX only. And by the way, DX, I believe, does include, for those of us in the United States, Hawaii and Alaska. I'm still looking for Hawaii, by the way. And now exclude entities worked before. So if you worked a country before, you're not going to work all the other stations in that country right now. You can call CQ, both a directed CQ with some choices through a drop-down menu. All the usual things: Asia, Africa, EU for Europe, DX for anybody, that kind of stuff. You can call a specific station if they are present on the screen, that the portion of the screen that QLOG shows you, which is the last 10 stations that WSJTX saw. And it's not just, so you can do that. It automatically logs for you and allows for exporting your log to an ADIF file, which can be transferred into any of the usual suspects for logging programs, and you're good to go. The cool thing about it is it's not a Windows install. So when a new version comes out, I'm going to be doing this probably after this podcast. I take the QLOG exe file into the appropriate directory on my computer, and I have now updated QLOG. All I do is say yes to the little message that says, "Do you want to replace this file?" And I do that. So it's very cool. It makes backing up the actual program also cool, because you can take the program folder to a flash drive, a cloud storage, that kind of thing. So you automatically have a backup. There is a QLOG users group, which Joel will put in the notes. We invite people to join us, and you can get some feedback from users. We would like to potentially do something with Zoom, probably as the better platform. If people want to talk to those of us who have gotten it successfully set up and maybe get some troubleshooting, that would be fine. And we may pick out a time and just do show up on a Zoom call and see who we get for people there. I think that's there's a lot more to say, but I think that's the 500-word version of what I tried to do in 100 words.
That's good. And Gena, I believe you can also, it automatically updates the QRZ to your QRZ logbook. Is that correct?
That's correct. It is absolutely wonderful. I just press F8 and it goes through its routine. I get a successful contact and it's just automatically sent down to my QRZ account. So it's really good.
And it'll do club log, and I do not remember. I'm not a club log or EQSL user, so I don't know about those two. I will say, to add to what Gena says, however, in order to use QRZ, the QRZ logging feature, you need a paid subscription to QRZ, because QLOG requires a license key, an API key. So if you're going to do QRZ, you have to pay the $29.95 or whatever it is a year.
Yeah, that's
I think it's $29
for that's an XML subscription, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's a great. And Gena, well, pat you on the back. How long have you been doing WSJTX and QLOG?
I was looking at my emails last night, and it was mid-August time last year.
Wow. Okay.
About less than 6 months you've done. How many contacts?
I didn't look. About 1,020. No, possibly more than 20. But yeah, I wanted to get 1,000 before the end of the year, which I didn't quite make, but I've certainly got 1,000, more than 1,000 contacts now.
That's awesome.
There are blind QLOG users, Joel, who've actually gotten DXCC.
Yes.
With QLOG. I forget who that is exactly, but you may know, but I
don't know, but I made my DXCC last year, but Gena, it took me almost 2.5 years to get 1,000.
Yeah.
Right now I'm a little bit over 2,000, and I've got 120 countries on WSJTX. I'm ashamed to say I'm not a QLOG user. I've got just a little bit of vision that I use a handheld magnifier and a 32-inch monitor, and that's the way I use WSJTX. It's I keep saying I need to jump in and start using QLOG, because there's features with QLOG that I really wish I could do.
There's
benefits.
I've had sighted buddies who, one gentleman, Jim K2LM, who helped me get this set up between in-person contacts, contact before COVID hit, and on the phone and things like that. And when I tell him what I can do, he says, you can do more than I can.
Yes,
you really can.
Yes, you really can. And like I said, it took me 3.5 years to get 2,000 contacts, and Gena's did over 1,000 unless
I have no idea how many contacts I've gotten. I think one of the guys who might have DXCC is what's Bob K3UL. He's one of our QLOG beta testers / users. I think he might have DXCC, and it might be Mike W7QJB.
Okay.
I think Mike Casalino might be one of them. But people are making they're making contacts. They're doing field day is now an option. Some of the ARL contests, the one that just completed the RTTY roundup, was an option. Unfortunately, due to WSJTX issues, that was kind of frustrating, because the program kept crashing. And when I put that question out to the beta testers group, Sam wrote back and said, "Don't worry, it's not you." Basically,
this is our first Blind Hams contest that I know of.
Yeah,
I know there's a straight key CW group, but they compete with everybody, I think. And but we're doing this sort of
isn't
thing
that this
ourselves.
weekend or something?
I believe it is. I'm not sure. I'm not a CW user, but I do know there's a group of blind guys that are on a team that competes with CW. But I think this is definitely the first blind, not exclusive, but more likely it will be, because there's not going to be anybody that listens to this podcast that it's usually not blind or low vision. But it's going to be fun, and that's what it's all about. I want everybody to send their but their totals into me, and then I'll post it up on the blindhamsgroup.io, how everybody did. And some of the names you just mentioned, John, we're calling you guys out. Let's see what kind of totals you can get.
There you go. One thing I might want to pass along that I just thought of is, if you are new to WSJTX and then QLOG, do not get any of the new release candidates for WSJTX. They have issues that will affect QLOG, and again, you'll chase your tail. So look for the stable version. I believe it's 2.2.2.
That's the one I have.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the stable version. Joel, you might want to put that in the show notes as I think about it now.
Yes.
Because that's a big issue. And to get QLOG, you do need to subscribe to the users group, because that gives you access to the files area where the QLOG, not only the program itself, but the documentation. Rich K1HTV, along with several of us, have done a really nice job at putting together some good documentation of how to get all this running. So definitely you want access to that stuff.
Right. And there's a link to the users group on blindhams.com.
Oh, there is. That's right.
Wow. And
I saw that the other day.
Yes, and there's also a link to the download page for WSJTX is also on the it's blindhams.com/ham links, I believe.
Yep,
Radio
that sounds
link.
right.
So check that out, and I'll have a link to the groups.io on the show notes, and I'll also have a link to Joe Taylor's website, the gentleman that's responsible for WSJTX. And so, wow, it's going to be fun, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for about 20 to 30 at least. You said that's about the number of individuals that are member of the QLOG users group.
I believe so. I'll go do some checking after we're done here. I'll go across the room and sign in and see, because now you got me curious, but I think it's around there.
Also, I think you got a phone call Tuesday. Maybe you can mention the contest for anyone.
Yep, I will.
That's not got the podcast. So that maybe it'll encourage all those guys to join in with us and just see what they can do. Well, can you think of anything else, Gena?
No, I think you've covered all bases, and John's gave an excellent description of what QLOG can do and an overview of the filters that you can set. Obviously, for this, you don't want any of those filters. Well, perhaps new call signs. You don't really want repetition, keep copying the same person over and over again.
That's true.
Yeah, turn those filters off and get FT8ing.
Good job. And I'd like to thank, I believe it's a new word. We'll look it up. FT8ing. We also like to thank Rich and Sam for all their work with developing this great software. We also had Sam along with you, John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sam was on an earlier Blind Hams podcast with me about, wasn't that was in the summertime, wasn't it, Joel?
Yes, it was. And that was great. So I might put a link to that podcast in the show notes also. Yeah,
that'd be great, because Sam can talk, he can talk much more eloquently about what he did. And I marvel at people who can develop software. You can ask them a question and they say, "Oh, sure, I'll do that." I had experience recently with somebody else who who several of us wanted a piece of software to do something, and he said, "Oh, sure, I think I can do that," and he did.
He's amazing. He is. I was in awe of him and a lot of these software engineers. Roger Clark brings to mind.
Yeah, same idea.
Another great software engineer that's helped this community out immensely. Well, anyway, I think that's about got it. So look forward to the log, or not the log. I keep saying that. Look forward to your totals coming in after the contest on the 6th of February. And so have fun FT8ing. 7-3, everybody.
Morning. Good day, everybody.